Here are the top stories for today, July 5, 2021. The country mourns for the victims of military plane crash in Sulu. Better to be safe than sorry, more residents in Batangas evacuate as Taal continues to emit high level of sulfur dioxide. Vaccination continues as Manda residents receive their jabs via Bakuna bus. And Siargao joined the ranks of some of the world's best islands. Good day, I am William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The military search and rescue team has retrieved all of the passengers of the Air Force C-130 plane that crashed in Paticul, Sulu. Malacanang had offered its prayers for the victims of the crash as authorities called on the public not to make speculations on the incident. Marita Mawahe has this top story.
Malacanang is one with the nation in praying for the victims of a Philippine Air Force C-130 crash in Paticul, Sulu on Sunday. In a statement, the presidential spokesperson Harry Roque said the palace is praying for the safe recovery of the passengers. He urged the public to wait for further updates on the incident from the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Nagpapaabot po ng pakikiramay si Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa pamilya ng mga nasawi ng bumagsak na C-130 sa Sulu. Nagluluksa hindi lamang ang sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas, ngunit ang buong bansa sa malungkot na pangyayaring ito. Nanalangin po kami na yakapin ng Panginoon ang mga nagdadalamhating pamilya para maibsan kahit paano ang kanilang nararamdaman at naway mabigyan sila ng lakas para malampasan ang pagsubok na ito. Samantalang pinagdarasal din natin ang mabilis na pagaling ng mga survivors.
Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Delphine Lorenzana said all 96 passengers of the plane have been accounted for. According to the latest tally, 47 Army personnel were killed during the crash, while 49 are being treated in hospitals. People on the ground were also not spared as 3 civilians were killed and 4 sustained injuries. Lorenzana said authorities are now looking for the plane's black box for investigation. He also called on the public to refrain from speculating on the incident. Meanwhile, the city government of Davao offered its condolences to the families of those who perished in the C-130 plane crash and offered its prayers to the survivors. In a statement, it said Davao City will fly the flag at half-mast from July 5 to July 9 in honor of those who died in the tragedy. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Marita Muahe.
Fully vaccinated individuals need not present swab test results if they want to travel within the Philippines. In the latest protocol released by the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, fully vaccinated people will only need to present their vaccination card for interzonal travel as well as for intrazonal movement. Fully vaccinated individuals who are close contacts of probable and confirmed COVID-19 cases may undergo a shortened 7-day quarantine period only if they remain asymptomatic for the duration of the 7-day period. However, no testing and quarantine shall be required for close contacts who may have been traced beyond the 7th day from the last exposure and who remained asymptomatic once the RT-PCR test yields a positive result or the individual becomes symptomatic. Prescribed testing and isolation protocols shall be followed.
Lilinawin lang po natin sa ilalim ng ECQ at MECQ, hindi pa po pwedeng interzonal movement unless ikaw ay isang APOR or authorized person outside residence. Samantala, patuloy na pinapayagan ng inyong ITF ang intrazonal movement ng fully vaccinated na mga lolo at lola sa mga lugar na nasa General Community Quarantine at Modified General Community Quarantine. Hindi lang po lolo at lola yan. Lahat po ng mga fully vaccinated individuals. Ngunit kailangan pa rin nilang magpakita ng COVID-19 domestic vaccination card na na-issue ng lehitimong vaccinating establishment or certificate of quarantine completion na nagpapakita ng kanilang vaccination status na na-issue ng Bureau of Quarantine.
Local governments continue to ramp up their COVID-19 vaccination drive. Meanwhile, the business sector in Zamboanga appeals to prioritize essential workers. The details from Late Kabagani.
In Bataan, more than 80,000 individuals received their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine, while almost 22,000 have already completed their 2 doses. Inoculation for the A1 to A3 categories is still ongoing, while the province prepares for the vaccination of the essential workers or A4. Meanwhile, a business group in Zamboanga City is calling for the immediate vaccination of workers. Zamboanga Chamber of Commerce and Industry Foundation President Pedro Rufo Solven says economic frontliners must be prioritized in the COVID-19 vaccination rollout as they are always in the field. He also called on the government to start opening up the economy to accelerate the city's recovery. And in Dumaguete, members of the Sangguniang Kabataan will be fielding volunteers to campaign to senior citizens and other priority groups to avail of the COVID-19 free inoculation. SK President Renz Machon said the proposal aims to build people's confidence in vaccines and accelerate the vaccination drive in the province. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Lade Kabagani.
More overseas Filipinos have beaten the coronavirus disease 2019. The Department of Foreign Affairs says a total of 141 Filipino nationals abroad have recovered last week, raising the recovery count to 12,375 as of Saturday. The DFA said its personnel and its foreign service posts remain steadfast in partnering with local health authorities and commit to tirelessly attending to the needs of our people whenever possible. Almost 500 residents in Mandaluyong City have benefited from the newly launched Bakuna bus of the Philippine Red Cross. The PRC introduced the mobile vaccination clinics in a press conference held at the PRC National Headquarters on June 30. With the mobile vaccination clinics, the PRC aims to reach out to the A5 group consisting of the population below the poverty line based on the National Household Targeting System for Poverty Reduction. PRC Chairman and CEO Senator Richard Gordon said, the more people we vaccinate, the faster we can beat the virus so that we can open up the economy and help end the COVID-19 pandemic. An online survey by Data Analysis and Public Relations revealed that more Filipinos react positively to the COVID-19 vaccines. According to Blueprint.ph, 54% of Filipinos hit the like button in 12,000 posts in January, and the number increased to 76% in June. Like reactions to vaccines increased within 6 months, with 61% in February, 68% in March, 76% in April, and 78% in May. Love reactions likewise rose steadily from 9% in January to 15% by June. Meanwhile, angry or negative reactions were low at 4% from January to February, 2% in March to April, and 1% in the following months. Of the estimated 68,000 posts by Filipinos on Facebook from January to June 2021, 58% were about the China-made Sinovac vaccine, but American brands Moderna and Pfizer received more love reactions. The data analysis also shows that the Department of Health was the top source of information for Filipinos when they post on Facebook about COVID-19 vaccines. Still to come, more residents in Batangas evacuate as Taal continues to emit high level of sulfur dioxide. And more opportunities ahead as Siargao receives more aid from the national government. Details ahead, this is the PNA Newsroom. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly changed our lives for the worse. Lives and jobs were lost and economies reached a meltdown. Thanks to the arrival of safe and effective vaccines, we are one step closer to normalcy. It's time to do our part, get vaccinated for our safety and for our recovery.
You are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective.
I would like to appeal to all our kababayans, please get vaccinated against COVID-19 and be the government partner in preventing further spread of the disease. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as possible time. These vaccines are safe and they are the key to reopening our society. The need for international solidarity and cooperation cannot be made clearer than this pandemic, because everyone is safe. No one is safe globally until everybody is safe.
Vaccines work. Help is underway as more residents in Batangas were evacuated due to the Taal volcano unrest. The details from Chris Mundo.
Taal volcano continues to emit high levels of sulfur dioxide gas and steam-rich plumes in the past 24 hours. According to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, Taal generated 17 volcanic earthquakes, including 1 volcanic tremor and 16 low-frequency volcanic earthquakes caused by the movements or eruptions of magma from the volcano. PHIVOLCS reminds the public that the Taal volcano island is a permanent danger zone and entry into the island must be prohibited as strong eruptions may occur. Communities around the Taal lake shores are also advised to take precautionary measures against possible airborne ash and volcanic smog and prepare for possible evacuation should unrest intensify. The Department of Health says prolonged exposure to sulfur dioxide gas may cause sore throat and difficulty in breathing. Meanwhile, a medical team gives free consultations to those experiencing respiratory ailments due to the effects of volcanic smog, while relief operations are also held by the Tanawan City's Social Welfare and Development Office. More residents have already been evacuated, the majority of whom are from Laurel and Agoncillo. Other localities in Batangas that had voluntary evacuations include Taal, Lemery, Balete, Cuenca, Mataas na Kahoy, San Nicolas, Talisay, and Tanawan City. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Chris Mundo.
More programs under the Aid and Humanitarian Operations Nationwide, or AHON Convergence Program, have been allocated for the towns of Burgos and San Benito in Siargao del Norte. Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar said that at least 200,000 pesos has been allotted for the towns through the Department of Social Welfare and Development. This was made possible through the help of Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo during the opening of the 125th Malasakit Center at the Siargao Island Medical Center in Dapa Town on Saturday, July 3. The Department of Agriculture also pledged at least 100,000 pesos for agri-entrepreneurs under its Enhanced Kadiwa ni Ani at Kita Financial Grant Assistance Program. The Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, also introduced the Livelihood Seeding Program, Pangkabuhayan sa Pagbangon at Ginhawa, in support of micro-enterprises affected by calamities and emergencies like the COVID-19 pandemic. Small and medium-scale industries in Iligan City, as well as aspiring entrepreneurs, benefit from the different programs of the government. The details from Claire Gighe.
Local business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs are looking forward to boost their sales in the coming months. This as the different government agencies collaborate and launched a program that would develop and upgrade their local products. Dubbed as Innovation Through Leveraging Industry, Government, Academe Networks and Inclusive Community Engagements, or ILIGANIZE, the program aims to enhance the productivity and competitiveness of local enterprises through the adoption of scientifically developed technologies. The launching was held online through the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding by the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Trade and Industry, Mindanao State University Iligan Institute of Technology, Chamber of Commerce and Industry Foundation of Iligan, and United States Agency for International Development, or USAID.
In the space of collaboration lies the ILIGANIZE program that can strategically connect and engage stakeholders from government, academe, and industry through its various activities in the community.
We are now two innovation hubs. Okay, we have the Oro-Best Innovation Program. By the name itself, okay, it looks like it is centered in Cagayan de Oro, and this is the innovation program, or optimizing regional opportunities for business excellence through science and technology. And we have now ILIGANIZE, okay, which is trying to create an ecosystem that will generate innovations for economic and social benefits, not only for the people of this region, but for the whole country.
For PNA Newsroom, Claire Gighe of the Philippine Information Agency Iligan City Information Center.
The Philippine Statistics Authority will soon roll out a website and offline mechanisms to ensure that all demographic information of PhilID card holders is genuine. The new mechanisms will enable relying parties such as government agencies and financial service providers to verify and confirm an ID holder's QR code and ensure that their information has not been tampered with. The same QR code mechanism will be available through electronic versions of the PhilID. As of June 17, over 561,000 PhilID cards are already with official delivery partner Philippine Post. About 3.6 million registrants have passed processing and deduplication following Step 2 or biometrics registration. The PSA assures easier and safer transactions using the PhilID, like in accessing financial assistance from the government or availing of financial credit offerings from the private sector. Up next, a fresh start for former rebels and IP farmers as they receive livelihood assistance from the government. And let us take a look at the world-renowned Siargao Island. Back after a quick break, stay with the PNA Newsroom. You're still watching the PNA Newsroom. 17 new People's Army rebels operating in Masbate province have surrendered to the police and military in Aroroy, Masbate. Police Regional Office 5 Regional Director Brigadier General Jonel Estomo said those who surrendered on Friday were from the Platoon 3, Larangan 1, Komite ng Probinsya 4 of the Militia ng Bayan. They will undergo debriefing and will receive government aid through the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integrated Program or ECLIP. The 17 NPA members surrendered through the Situational Awareness and Knowledge Management or SAKM in Barangay Balete and Barangay Concepcion in Aroroy. The SAKM is an initiative of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict or NTF-LCAC to educate the communities about the ideology and acts of the NPA that violate human rights. Meanwhile, in Sultan Kudarat, farmers, including surrendered rebels from an indigenous people's community, received coffee production post-harvest facilities from the Department of Labor and Employment. The facilities were turned over Friday afternoon to the Tupi Bato Farmers Association in Barangay Midtungok in the Senator Ninoy Aquino or SNA municipality. The DOLA said the 36 members of the association can now improve coffee production and marketing. The DOLE also awarded a kabuhayan check amounting to 1.5 million pesos to the SNA town government for 85 informal sector workers, most of whom are self-employed IP women, youth, persons with disabilities, senior citizens, former rebels, and parents of child laborers. Philippine Sports Commission Chairman Butch Ramirez expressed confidence that the country's 19-strong Tokyo Olympics qualifiers have what it takes to get a golden finish. The two-time PSC chief thanked the athletes for their sacrifices and dedication to reach their dream of becoming an Olympian, which he said is not an overnight success. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic that hampered the athletes' preparation, Ramirez said the Philippine team has a good chance to pull off surprises and bring home an Olympic medal. He also requested the prayers and support of Filipinos for all the national athletes. The Philippines will be sending the second biggest delegation since the 2000 Sydney Olympics. San Miguel Corporation has cleaned out 300,000 metric tons of garbage and silt in its 1 billion peso initiative to revive the Tulyahan-Tinajeros River system. SMC President and Chief Operating Officer Ramon Ang said the company is geared towards deepening and widening parts of the river to complement the government's flood mitigation measures. Following the cleanup of sections that include Barangay Bangkulasi and Tanyong in Navotas City, the project team is currently operating in Barangay Longos in Malabon City. The team has also started cleaning and widening the river section between Valenzuela and Malabon. The continuous waste extraction is seen to prevent major flooding in the cities of Navotas, Malabon, and Valenzuela during the rainy season. Siargao has landed on Vogue Finance's list of 10 most charming islands to make the most of the summer season. Tourism Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat said the inclusion of Siargao show that the natural beauty of the Philippines draws in leisure travelers abroad despite the restricted inbound travel for tourism due to the pandemic. In an online article dated June 19, Vogue Paris lifestyle editor Jade Simon describes Siargao as a destination that offers soaring one-on-one with wild nature. The piece named Jacking Horse and Pacifico among Siargao's notable beaches, along with the island's natural pools. Here's another look at today's biggest stories. The country mourns for the victims of military plane crash in Sulu. Better to be safe than sorry, more residents in Batangas evacuate as Taal continues to emit high level of sulfur dioxide. Vaccination continues as Manda residents receive their jabs via Bakuna bus. And Siargao joined the ranks of some of the world's best islands. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear your face masks and face shields, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check more news content, visit our webpage or head onto the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PCOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know. From the PNA Newsroom, we tell stories that inspire change. I am William Theo. Good day to all.